Good morning. So let's see. We just got rolling there. What is it? Am I doing 10:09? Getting a few things going. Trying a new or redoing one of the stream services. So I was messing with that. I hope everybody's well on this Monday morning. I've got a new chat box up over here, at least for me on my end, that in theory I can see all the chats. So I'm really pushing the limit today. I switched things over to this morning to a different server, and I'm on 4 pages. I'm on Facebook on 3 and YouTube on 1 in theory. So that's what we're trying today. I will check the chat box here and see how things are going. I had a computer die on me this morning as well. All that good stuff. So let me see over here, because it is wild and crazy sometimes in this internet world. I'm going to go and refresh my page. And the chat box I have, it just went in the background, but I'll bring it back up once I see what's going on here. See if I am live as we speak, as we should be. The rain is over. It's a nice day, though. I think it's going to rain again. I'm over here looking for things. What's going on? Give me this page. Gotta love live stuff. It's fun. I'm having a ball. I'm making it better all the time. Doing some more advances. I'm running an old computer over here on the side to keep up with the live stream, with the the chats. Okay, so open my chat box back up, and it says Lorianne's here. Mom says no video. Corey's good morning, Corey. Good morning, Lorianne. Good morning, Mom. That's not good. So obviously the audio's coming through. I love this little chat box thing over here. This is what I've been missing. It tells me where things are coming from. It tells me if you're coming from a Facebook page. It tells me if you're coming from a YouTube channel. All those good things. What else was crazy in here this morning? Well, it was humid. So this front camera that you're seeing right now was, of course, all foggy. But I turned it on early enough, about 7:30, and it warmed up the lens inside and did all the good things and dried off the fog. Running 3 cameras today with this fun little crazy project. I love doing these. You saw the picture I posted last night of the end view of this. When I call them organics, it's because I'm just going to leave the shape as natural as possible. I start out with virtually no plan as usual. That's how I roll. So I'm just going to double check things here a little bit, make sure everything's going on like it's supposed to be. Okay. Good. One quick update I want to give you on the keyring, the hand sanitizer keyring project that we've created. A little bit of an upgrade to it. I got to turn on my VH controller here. Come on, control. Let's see. Let's go to the overhead. We made an update. Overhead is 3. We've added a bottle to it, and to all kits. All kits now come with a bottle. It has Windex in it just to make it blue so I could take the photos the other day. So all the kits, everything we make from the basic all the way up through the expert kit comes with a bottle. The family 4 packs come with 4 bottles. And in the expert kit, we added, give you a background here. This is a live center mandrel. So to give you an idea, it goes on your 60-degree cone on your live center over there. So we've added that, and this project is going well. Been real happy with it. They're going out the door. People are making them, so that's great. We've got some other folks doing some videos of them. Scott Grove's going to do one at Imagine Grove. Rich Buldeck, if I got his name right, Rich. If I didn't, I'm sorry. He's with Nova. He's going to be turning one up. So we got a lot of fun things going with that. So for today's message and today's project, my message on doing these strange organics is you have to stay open-minded. I don't have a plan for the shape. I can go a couple of different ways. As always, I freshly sharpened up my Carter & Son tools, 3/8, ½ inch, and 5/8 bowl gouges over there. I've got my Easy Wood tools. I should be able to use them as well. Switched over to a Vic Mark chuck today because I'm going to use a 2-inch step drive on this, and I will go overhead so you can see this guy. You can't get these anymore. I'm trying to get them available. This is one I've had for 10 years, I'll bet. This thing is fantastic, and you'll see how I use it. And it goes in a set of 2-inch jaws. So I went to my Vic Mark chuck with a set of 2-inch jaws on that for today. I may end up and change back to an Easy Wood chuck if I need to. You know, who knows? No big deal. But to start with, let's see. I'm going to adjust my end camera. I don't have everything 100% adjusted just yet this morning. It's always a busy Monday out here for me. And you can't see this moving yet, so you won't get dizzy. I hope everybody's doing well and hanging in there with all the being closed at home, if you're closed at home. Luckily for me, I mean, I work at home, so I haven't, felt a big difference in life in a lot of regards, because I don't go anywhere unless I'm getting on an airplane anyway. Don't mind me, I'm over here. Oh, you see me adjusting the camera, don't you? Well, you get that sometimes. Tell you what, because that looks strange. So since I don't have a producer and I'm my own producer, I'm going to go to the overhead while I do this so that you don't have to look at me fighting around with this camera. So I want to get the right angle set up here in the right place. There we go. I'm liking that better. Every project's a little bit different. Now I may, actually, you know what? I've just rethought because I know I'm going to be putting my head in the way, so I'm going to change this again. Yeah, I know. Some would say you should have done it a long time ago. Well, I was doing something else a long time ago. It's all right. It's all good. I think I like that view better. Okay. Let's see. What else is going on? Jump over here and look at the chart. All right. That's good. Do. Making sure all my things are working everywhere they're supposed to be. And I'm going to close down some windows to save on some bandwidth. Sure don't want to run out of bandwidth. Hopefully it's on all the different channels. We'll find out. Okay? All right. So, first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to take my 2-inch step drive and I'm going to mount her up here. Runaway handle into the chuck. Now, one of the neat things about this is it has a spring-loaded pin on it. Drops right in there. And I love this because I can turn a 2-inch tenon right down to here. Go to the end here. So when I turn to this, I can make my tenon right down to the steel, just short of touching, and then it'll go right in the jaw. So I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to measure for that. It works out really, really well. The other thing I like about it is the spring-loaded cone. So I can adjust how this goes. All right, now you probably wonder, well, how's he going to mount it? What's his approach going to be? Well, I haven't thought about it, to be quite honest. I did have to run over to the shop and cut 2 inches or so off the end. The reason being, what's important is this is an 18-inch lathe. And I'll go here. 18-inch lathe, and with this long corner that I have out here, my diagonal was about 21 inches. So at the moment, it's 18 1/4 with some bark, right? Now I'm expecting the bark won't stay. That's the long angle. This one is fine. This one is plenty short. So I may have to take just a teeny bit off of this corner right here, just a fuzz. And that also depends on where I mount it and how I mount it as to how it locates on the lathe. That may be longer, that may be shorter. Now, one of the beauties of this piece is, of course, this goofy profile. It is maple. It does appear to have some spalting in there and some ambrosia, so it's going to be an interesting piece. Now, if you see right here, that bark is loose. So I know this bark is coming off. I see it's loose. So once I get it between centers, I'm going to peel this bark off, and that may take care of my issue. Now, the first thing I have to decide, though, is what's going to be the top and the bottom. Is this the inside and top, and is this the bottom, or vice versa? And I'm going to look at this now while I'm here talking to you and think about how do I want to do this? What kind of shape do I want to make? Because it's really important in this how I set it up. If I make it go one way, I have a natural edge bowl. If I make this the top, now if I make this the bottom, make this the top, and let's say I were to cut it round, or then it would be a bowl for sure. If I leave it square, I'm still going to have my depression here, going to have high sides up here and down on this end. If I make this go the other way, I end up with holes in it. It's what I was thinking. I was laying in bed last night thinking about this, trying to decide which way am I going to make it. I don't know how much structure I'll have if I go the opposite direction as I think about it. And let me think. Give me 30 seconds, maybe even 15, to decide which way I want to go. I know you're not supposed to have any air silence, so I will say that I'm still thinking about which way do I want to go with this, which would be the most interesting. Best chances of success as well are important on which way I go. Let me hum. I know you guys love the way I hum. It works out well. It's a tough decision what I want to do here. Because once I start, I can't go back. Once I start, I can't go back. Yeah, some people would have it all figured out. I don't like to go that way because it's just more fun to be spontaneous. Okay, I am going to make this the bottom. Am I sure? Am I sure about this? And as I put this over here, it's going to be harder if I do it this way because I don't have a good surface in here for that to go up against. The tailstock, the live center can go in pretty much anywhere. So I don't get a very good grip here. So that is part of the determining factor right there, as you can see, looking down in there. That's the way I want to go. But I'm not going to. I'm going to go ahead and go back to more conventional today because I don't want to get that far out on this craziness and do that. So how do you find the center? Well, the center is what you want it to be, kind of, because these are not equal sides. All right? Now, I'm just going to kind of take a little shot at this. I'm going to look at my short, which is 16, so there's my 8 for that. It's actually 16 and a half. That's 8 1/4 running that way. Now the middle of this one, of course, is over here. And so we're going to test that. See if that center right there, and that's what I love about this cone, we can move this around. So what this means is as we mount this, I'm going to make it 10 inch, so I'm going to take away 3/8 of an inch of the back of this and then turn the top. So let me get the banjo. One of these days I'm going to paint this lathe back up again. I'm actually running, it's a composite lathe. I'm running a Jet 1642 banjo because it goes a little bit lower than the Colt that came with it. And the other thing I need to think about is, and this is important, the banjo needs to be behind the piece of wood to start. Get this tail or tool rest out of here for a second, because I won't be able to get it underneath necessarily, and I need to make my tenon on the back side. So there's our magic mark. So what I'm doing is I'm lining up the back, and I know you can't quite see it there, to be flat on the step drive. Okay, now all I'm going to do is give it a spin and see how close everything comes to hitting. So 3 corners out of 4 are good. So this is the corner that is long. Let me go here. This is the long corner, and it's the only one that touches. So I look at the opposite corner, spin that back around, and I have virtually no clearance on the bottom here on the opposite corner. All right, so I'm going to have to take just a fuzz off of this top corner, and it's not much. It really isn't. So I'm going to lock the spindle down, and I'll go to the front view here, and I'm going to find my chisel, which I know is probably lost over here somewhere. I'm going to grab my chisel, take just a little bit of this corner off, just enough to where it'll clear. And we're going to go from there. So let me look over here in the infamous tool. There it is. There's the chisel. Now my kingdom for my mallet, it sometimes lays over here. My tools are organized, just not all the accessories that I need. Let's see if it's flopping around over here somewhere. If not, I'll find another something to tap with. There's always something around in here, because stuff goes back and forth between the two shops. Well, we'll use, how about that? We'll use a little spindle turning piece as our mallet, homemade mallet. So I just want to take a little bit of this corner off of here. Not a lot. And like I say, I'm probably going to peel all this bark off too, but I want just enough to be able to get this to clear. Just enough. And I'm not worried about it, getting a little wonky right there. Okay, let's take a look. So it just touches, tick, 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 tick. The other way, if I had my sander or grinder plugged in and handy, we would do that. I don't. So I'm going to take just a fuzz more right here. This is the bark. I'm going to take a fuzz more off of this. I just don't want it to be touching when I turn it on. Like I said in the description, projects like this are problem-solving projects. They're fun. You have to be creative. You have to be able to solve these problems as they come up. And the challenging part is you don't always know what's going to. It's kind of hard to foresee some of what's going to happen in here. So that's the fun part for me. The exciting part is keeping up with that challenge. All right, let's see what we got going on here. Kingdom for a mallet. Yeah, Mom. That's just fuzz touching there now. That is actually right there. Last little bit of bark. So I want to see about debarking this guy. It might be, interesting, one could think, to leave the bark in there on it. But I got a feeling it's going to come flying off. And here's another thing to think about on a piece like this. We're going to have to turn it at a high speed, because we're going to have lots of voids. And so to turn it where there's air and wood, we're going to have to pick up the pace and turn it pretty fast. which is one of the things that scares people, because if you don't turn it really fast, it's all clunky. So that's kind of our next mission. All right, so now we're clear. It's going to turn. Next thing we're going to do is make sure that we are secure. Now, when I say secure, and you look here, the life center pin is driven into the wood up to the shoulder, and I'll probably make it a little bit tighter. I don't mind making that pierce. All right. That looks good. All right, so speed. Well, speed on this, you want it as fast as you can for everything you're going to do, but you've got something that is way out of balance. So we just have to, I start at 0. I turned it all the way down to 0. That is on camp post, just so you know. Yeah, I get that. I get that. All right. Let's see. Let's start this guy up. Always free turn it. Get that wrench off of there. Question is, can we go up past it, or do we have to stay low? You don't want to go too fast, because it's still not the world's most secure hold. It's not outrageously dangerous, but it's not. See, at the low speed, it really rocks the lathe. If you can see that, I'll go here. You can see the rocking going on at the lower speed. I don't want to get up much over 800 or so if I don't have to, until I get a little bit of balance in this thing, some of the mass out of it. Because if it were to leave the lathe, it would be painful, and we don't want to go there. We want to reduce the vibration and get as much speed as we can get. So I'm taking this up slowly. And that's about 650. And I think I'm going to stop with that. I'll stay right there until we get a little bit of mass out of this. All right? Now I'm going to straighten this lathe up in the picture there for you. It may walk around a little bit till we get things going. This is definitely a face shield kind of project and a stay out of the way. So everything I do on this piece, at least until it's down to weighing a couple of ounces, I'm either going to be working over here or I'm going to be working over here. All right? I am not going to stand right here for quite some time. I eventually will have to. But in a case like this, yes, it's between centers. Theoretically, it can't get away. That's a theory. But you just can't always trust these, so don't. And I'm going to clean my face shield, he says, if he can find his cleaner. And then I may pull that bark while this face shield cleaner dries. There's my Easy Eye. We still have Easy Eye shield cleaner. It's fantastic stuff. Down to the 2 ounce bottles right now. But we had the little 1/4 ounce bottles. And I see, you know how I like these blue face shields? This one has been discontinued, actually. And there's a new one that looks just like it, except that it flips up. So the face part here flips up. Of course, because you can't get a face shield to save your life right now, well, except for the people who need it because they are saving lives. So they're not available, but they will be, and it's just a little bit more than this version. So that's something we're going to be looking into as soon as we can get them. We'll have the flip-up version of the lower section. It's pretty cool looking. I mean, I've been checking it out online. Unfortunately, like I said, it's just not available right now. I've got 4 of these left, I think. I put them in the store last week. There was a gentleman who was interested in them, so I put them in the store. I hadn't had them in there. They were just available out on the road. Get a fresh paper towel on that real quick. All right, I'm going to see about peeling some of this bark off because I know it's going to fly. I don't plan to really leave any of it on the piece anyway. So let's see what happens here with my trusty chisel. Check over here. It's weird being on a different computer here now this morning, the backup computer, to get things going. Windows updates. Who loves Windows updates and who hates Windows updates? Right now I'm in the not such a big fan category. They crashed my office computer, and looks like they crashed just one of the three out here. So let me go to the overhead for you, and right down in this crotch, I'm going to see if this wants to pop loose easily or not. I see it's dislodged right there, but it doesn't seem like it wants to pop right off. This over here wants to. I like to try and remove anything that I know is loose. So there goes that. All right, because that's a flying projectile. That's the last thing you want, because the wood may be all secure, but as you're cutting, a piece of bark comes loose, it's going to hurt too. If it's really on there tight, then I don't worry about it because I'll turn it away. But if I can peel this off, for the most part, that's what I want to do. Come around here. See, it looks kind of tight on this end. It's in here pretty well. And I don't want to beat on the piece too much because of my grip here. I don't want to do anything to compromise that grip. So that's fairly snug right there. This end looks to be the looser of things. Let's see if this pops loose in here. Goes some. There we go. That's one of the things I learned a long time ago about taking bark off. So I used to get hit by a lot of bark. I think, oh, I'm going to leave the bark on it and make all the bark natural edge stuff. This isn't. I mean, it's not bound to it that well, so it's going to come off. It's just a matter of when. So yeah, if you, like I said in the description, I've been saving this piece for quite a while. Thinking about it, it's been stored over, there we go, in the shop next door. And I thought, what am I going to do with that thing? That's going to be an interesting. Hey, Tim, you're not late. I'm just getting rolling. There's always plenty of time. If I'm ever super on time and up and going, that'll be a miracle, bud. But I appreciate you coming in today. All right, that's where I'm at. That looks like it's about as much as it's going to come off easily. So my first mission is, again, to give myself a tenon here on the back. I'm going to make it through, and I could make a recess, but this is only, gosh, here it's about 1.25 inches thick, and it's a little bit thicker here. If I made a recess, I'm always, I don't know, I'm a tenon guy in the first place. I just always have been. I mean, I make recesses occasionally. I like to have that extra material so I don't have to wonder so much about going through and coming into my tenon, especially in a weird piece like this. I see one more piece of bark right here that says, "Take me off." There, see that? All right, we'll keep that chisel handy. So I'm going to make my gripping point back here. So I'm just going to it'll flatten up the backside, and we'll take 3/8 away. This is a dovetail set of jaws. And again, because I have, well, you can't see it now, unfortunately. The 2-inch step drive in there, I just have to turn down to that, and I have my 2-inch tenon. Now, 2-inch tenon doesn't seem like a lot, especially for an out-of-balance piece, but I'm going to be running the tailstock virtually all the time until I absolutely cannot not use it, okay? So let's get things set up over here. Oh, and these weird pieces like this, you gotta always, I mean, you should do it on everything anyway. Always, always, always make sure to turn your piece by hand before you turn it on. Now, what am I going to use? This is going to be a fun one because, you know, in the middle in here, where am I at? I'm up there. In the middle section, it's no big deal. But once you get past the circle, this is all corners out here. So it'll be clunky out there. So I'm just going to get started. I'm going to use, so that I have a little bit of strength, I'm going to use my 5/8, half inch actually, excuse me, 5/8, half inch, depending on who you're with. But this is the Carter and Son, so this is the 5/8 bowl gouge. I want a little bit of beat there. We got our speed set. You can hear me in the mask. Looks like everything's still good. I charged the batteries freshly. Hey, Mary Alice. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're having coffee. I know it's like, so it's 7:30 out there. Coffee time. All right, let's get started on this craziness. Love the fact that I have movable controls. So I'm bringing my power over here. I am completely out of the way of this. Okay. Hopefully my controller here doesn't vibrate off. All right. What am I going to do? I'm just going to start with the tip right in here, get a feel for this, see what's going on. Okay. So I have to work left-handed because I'm on the back side of things. And again, you want to make sure that you don't get over here, even with an arm or anything in there. I'm also going to stop and lower my tool rest a little bit. I was going to put camera number 4 up here this morning, and I just got caught up in other stuff and didn't, so that you could see the back side of this. That's a good one to do. In the future, I will have that camera number 4 up for this shot coming in when we're working here on the back side. I'm starting out with this big tool. Let's see. I'm going to end up with something smaller to get down inside in the corners there. Matter of fact, I may switch right now, just because of the feeling I'm getting. One of the things that's really important to me is, wish I had another number 1. Well, let's see what the negative rake does on here. It can be less. If I don't like the way a tool's working, I'm going to change. I'm going to switch over to something else. So this is the Easy Wood negative rake. Yeah, normally I use it on the resin, but I want to just kind of flatten this out. The negative rake is not very aggressive on the wood when it's like this. So let me change gears again. Like I said, I'll change tools until I find what I want. This is a standard round cutter. And I just want to get this flattened up out of the way. The best view, there is no, let's go overhead for you, while this thing is shaking. It's my controller's on my custom flexi mount with duct tape and a lamp stem. I got to get up to the hardware store and find a right-sized bolt and drill a hole in the belt cover there, and we'll be able to take care of that. Again, as you can see, I am standing way over here. I'm out of the path of anything that comes flying off of a piece like this. That's really important. So I'm going to reach in here. So, you know, there's always a debate about these different style tools. But if it's easier to reach in here with a tool like this, we're not worried about a finish, then use it. Use what works best for you at the moment. It's crazy to get all caught up in whether it's a carbide tool or a high-speed steel tool. What I'm actually doing is I'm kind of, where are we at here? I'm kind of making a scoop in the back here. I do wish I had that fourth camera for you. I do apologize. Where I can get this into the chuck, which will be a little bit more secure as far as I'm concerned, and it will be where it's going to be. So I'm kind of just undercutting here and leaving the top. And I can, one of the reasons I'm doing this, let me go front and stop this for a second. So as I'm watching this spin, one of the things I'm seeing is I could roll this bottom up, and I'm going to a little bit, or I can leave it really flat. It's all up to what I want to do. That's part of the organic process that makes these, and you can see, let me go overhead for you. You can see these corners starting to roll away, all right, and that's where that bark is going to get knocked loose. So that's going to go up as much as we want, or it can go up a little. You could make the piece actually sit on the four corners. There's a lot of different things that we could do with this. All right, so let's go back to, we'll leave it right there on overhead. Looking for any questions, seeing over there. Looks like now it's interesting, I can talk to you and that's fine. This Restream chat box I now have is supposed to show me all the different platforms, all 4 pages that I'm on, but it says that I cannot, I'm in read-only mode, so I'm going to have to read up on the read-only mode. Let's work our way all the way out here. So when I get out here, you can see, you can't quite see when, I'm going to shut this off. You don't want to be poking at these. Something happened in here and matter. When you're all the way out here with the tool cutting, you are cutting, missing a lot, cutting, missing a lot. So you're looking at a ghost image. Let's see if we can see the ghost image from the other direction. Let me turn this on. Yeah, let me go to here on the end. So you can see the ghost image I'm talking about. So my hand disappears in what's the solid piece of wood, right? Back in here. But then as I bring my hand up, you can see my fingers right through the ghost image. So that's one of the things that's kind of fun. You can really do a lot of different things by utilizing that to look at. All right, let me get a clue in here what's going on, see what it looks like. I haven't taken a look. So I've got some worm holes there. There's a pith, not real pith stripe, but a dark stripe running right through the back side. This is a beautiful piece of wood. It's going to be interesting to see what it looks like on this side. Dun, da, dun, da, dun. See, it's hard for me to turn that way with the bowl gouge, but let's see what happens. Because I want a little more substantial tool in my hand if I can get it. So I'm going to go back over here to the overhead, and see, I can't get any bevel. All I can do is draw. There's just nothing wrong with that.
a number of different densities right in here. That brown streak through the center is quite soft. Some of this is quite hard. I'm switching to a bigger tool yet because I'm starting to reach pretty far over the tool rest. So I work my way. I'm getting close, but I'm still probably half an inch away from the center. And I'll leave that till I come in and finalize it. When I finalize my tenon. Okay. Thinking here, taking a break. Never hurts to stop, take a break, think about it, see what you got going on, check everything's tight. That could use a little snug in there, so we gave it that. I like what I think I see coming out of this guy. Let's see. I probably can't get any more speed on it yet. Let's see if we can't come in from this outside a little bit. I need to lower that tool rest too. That's why I switched to this tool rest. Or a banjo. Let's see what happens here. Out here in the no man's zone. Yep, we're in the overhead. Okay. So you hear the cut hitting and missing, hitting and missing. So part of what this is doing is taking bulk away. So it's really hard to see out here on the very end. Just come in very gently, make sure you got your bevel touching. So that was a chunk of bark that just came off. Let's see where that came from. It hit me in the finger. It was bark or that chunk of wood right there. No, that's where I'm cutting. So it's probably that piece of bark. Something just popped off, hit me right in the end of the finger. No pain, no damage, no harm, no injury. That's why we stay out of the way though. You know what I'm going to do for you guys? Hang on a second. I don't like you not being able to see what's going on back there. So we're going to slide everything down because I care. Because I want you to see what's at least partially going on. So we're just going to slide all of this over. Like that. How's that? Gives you a little bit more perspective, and then we'll tighten everything back up. I mean, what's the point of being here if we can't see what's shaking? All right. Everybody with me on that? Get reset here. That's good. Looking at the wood. Do-do-do-do. Come up a little teeny bit. Try not to touch the chuck there. Okay, that looks good. Change hands. Let's see, what was that noise? What did we do? Noise means stop. We came loose with our step drive in the chuck. Hopefully I didn't break it. I hope. I had it all snugged up. I think I broke the ears off of it. Oh no! Oh no! Heaven forbid! Because now it just goes around and around. That is not good. I almost have a tenon too. Sure enough. Well, 12 years that I've had this, there were, cone fell out. There were 2 ears right here that lock it into the chuck. And so obviously it was getting a lot of force. Those 2 broken ears right in. Might as well take my mask off. It's going to take a minute. So, oh, and I moved that so now you can't see. Let me change that camera for you. Since we moved everything down, that's a darn it, because I sure like that drive. So right in the jaws here, it broke. The ears broke off, both ears simultaneously. And part of the metal just fell right out. Just a little teeny piece of metal. Those 2 ears were what kept that from rotating. And because this is a dovetail, all it's doing is touching on the very top right here. That's not much of a grip. Not much of a grip at all. I'm disappointed in my... It finally broke. Oh well. So, unforeseen eventualities. Again, you got to figure out how to deal with these things. So what are we going to do? Because we don't quite have the tenon that we want yet. Although it's close. The way that's... Let's see what kind of grip we get on this. I might be okay with what I've got. It's not optimum. Let's go overhead. But let's see what we get. Let me think about this. What can I do? How can we save the day on this? That's 2-inch. If I had a 2-inch faceplate width, I don't think I do. If I had a 2-inch faceplate, I could go in there. In that regard, that would be a possibility. Don't you hate it when stuff breaks? Okay, I got another idea. Let's. Will this work? If I put it on a worm screw, maybe. Okay.
you all gonna have to bear with me for a minute. We're gonna try something here. We're gonna change chucks. We're gonna drill a hole right here. Of course, that's gonna go further in than I want. And I don't have a bushing to back that out. And if I ran out to the warehouse, which would create obviously too long, I could get a another step drive, a Sorby step drive that's smaller, and maybe get it mounted up in here on this side. Don't want to do that. How much wood do I have? I don't know if I have enough wood. Worst case scenario is I have a little decorative hole here. So I think, let me play with this. Let me check, let me do this. Let me go ahead and go forward here with my change. See if I can save this and do it with worm screw on the easy chuck. Life's full of little mysteries and surprises, isn't it? You never know what you're going to get. And again, one of the things that's, so important is being able to work through that. Let's see. Here's our chuck. We've got a piece of resin mounted in it at the moment from last week. Let's see if we can make this work. It has potential. And I'll do whatever it takes to make it do what we need it to. You know what I mean? So, what I'm wondering about is that going to go over? It's going to be too big, I'm afraid. It's going to go over top of my, yeah, so I won't be able to turn my tendon that way. Nope. Won't be able to. Okay, so that theory's out. This tendon is still a little bit bigger than 2 inches. Let's see if it's 2 3/8 does to it. So we have a little better grip because I didn't finish turning it down to 2 inches. So here I have a better grip contact-wise all the way around. Again, I don't have the shoulders that I would like to have. I don't have the top of the jaw sitting on a shoulder. But I have a better grip as far as contact points all the way around on this. And again, if I keep the tailstock in place, recess, well, I got no way to hold it there, Art. Got no way to hold it to make the recess without doing crazy things and going off to the other. And I don't have a Forstner bit that big, which would make a recess, but that doesn't drill a dovetail recess. So I think we're going to go with this and continue on. That's all right. I think we'll be all right with this. I'm game if you are. I think I'll be okay. I do indeed. We'll keep an eye on it. Yeah, I think as long as I keep my tailstock in place for 90% of this till we get that mast out of there, and if that doesn't move, is it optimum? No, it's not. It's not optimum. It is not. But this is live, and we don't have the time for me to run out and get all the goodies to do that. So we're going to continue on. I'm comfortable with this. Everybody has to evaluate their comfort factor. Now, if something crashes and burns, I guess you'll get to see it live here on Spiracraft, which would be not so good. But let's go here for a second, and let me check. I do like the way this is working, the screen. That says, how about a 4-prong spur? It could, Dad. That's a good point. But I'm already there where I want to be. I'm going to just keep rolling. I think I'm just going to keep rolling with what I got. Because this thing won't weigh much when I get some mass off of it. Okay.
Doo-doo-doo-doo. So now that we're in a tenon, if I can, I'm going to move around to the front side. And I'm going to move everything back a little bit so that the other camera will let you see the front side activity. There you go. So you can still see the back. You can see the front better now. Okay. Doo-doo-doo-doo. Now, see if we can get the banjo here. Oh, yeah. So now we have the clearance to get through there. So we're going to take some mass off the inside middle. Then we'll be able to dial our speed up and go back to the back side. So I'm going to do back and forth here.
And one other thing I really want to do, if I have one here, put on a regular CI5. Onto my number one hollower. Brake negative rake. Let's see what's in this box. CI negative rake. Okay. You know where everything is? Out at the warehouse. Let me dig through my other savings pieces here. Real quick. CI5NR. Well, I guess we'll do it with a CI3. Or I may just change my mind and do it with bowl gouge. Let's just do it with a little bowl gouge. That'll work. It's one of those days. The other thing I'm going to do real quick while we're still that way, I'm going to turn on a fan to get myself a little breeze. Hopefully, let me know if having this fan on makes wind noise on the microphone. Okay? If it's annoying, let me know. So I think I'm going to come at this with a 3/8 half-inch Carter & Son Sorby 3/8 on the outside here and start to take some mass off of this. So I will put you on the end camera like that. And focus stays. We'll watch the focus. Focus shifts. Let me know. It should be on manual. Set for about 3 feet. I'm going to move my power supply controls back down to here. This is where this is going to make a bunch of bark come jumping off and things like that. Double checking everything is down snug and tight because I made all these changes. Okay. I'm going to go back to 0.
The hole wasn't quite exactly in the same center spot, so I don't know if you can see what I'm doing. I'm actually winding the tailstock, the live center, back and forth a little bit, and that's recentering. But something is, let's see what's loose. Something's moving, unless I'm just going in there. Nope, it just wasn't there yet. Again, I've got lots of pressure on this, so I want to make sure those are both snug. Okay. So we'll start to take some of this top side away. Again, staying way out of the way of the bark. I'm not even going out here to the outer corners yet. It's working where this mass is. And part of this is we're going to see what develops, because it's kind of an unknown. These are some of my favorite kind of projects, because you have to develop them on the fly. I don't know, I just enjoy the challenge. And see what we're looking like. So you can see where we're starting to, we're only cutting right here still at the moment. Haven't even gotten anywhere out there, haven't even touched this side yet. I would love to leave this valley. This valley may not stay, we'll see, but it would be fun to have this one valley stay as part of the piece. When we roll the back up, that's going to come to a point, and that may be what dictates how much the back has a curve in it. So between this point and the back, as I come back around the backside and I start to carve this again, I want to maintain some piece of structure right here. It doesn't have to be very big. It could be 1/4 of an inch right in here. But that's a piece of the part that I want to, a part of the piece that I want to keep. Okay. If you got any questions at all, fire away over there. Or if you just think I'm crazy, you can tell me that too. Much more comfortable with the fan on now. Again, this is a Carter & Son 1/2 inch pole gouge. And I'm just basically roughing with it right now. Well, I'm just kind of going to draw out here and see where that corner ends up. Looking for that highest point. All right. That's going to be my high point right there. Da-da. So I am occasionally now, I don't stay there, but occasionally I look over and I start looking at the back profile that I've already created. I'm looking at the overall thickness of the piece. So as you can see here in the overhead, it's starting to get thinner. And so I kind of take a look and look at my bottom. I've already got a curve established in the back. It's not the final curve, but it's good to look back and forth when you can. And, you know, stay safe. You look from this side, look over to the other side, jump back over. Don't stay there too long. This wood is about probably 4 years old now. 4 years dry. Okay, so we're getting down to cutting that bark line away, starting to get down into that valley a little bit. All right, but we've gotten some mass off of this. I may actually switch over, see if I can't get just to use a little bit heavier tool for a minute. Clean off my power controller here. Butter and Son 5/8 gouge. I'm reaching a little further out now. All right. So that's as far as I want to go up here, because I still have my little bit of my valley left right there, right on the very edge. All right. So I'm going to go back around to the back now, is where I'm headed. And I'm going to finish up the back. I'm going to bring that back profile up to match. Let's see. Let me go here for you. I'm going to bring this back up to match and give myself about 1/4 of an inch right in here. And whatever that is, that's what I'm going to have for the bottom. So we're going to slide back around the back here. Get that out of my way over there. Make sure everything's good. Make sure nothing's changed and chuck grip is still nice and snug. Okay. Bring my power back, or my control back over with. Check the chat box real quick. It looks good there. All right. And off we go. So I'm going to start right out here on the outer corner. change hands to the left hand. Wind is coming up. We might be having a thunderstorm come in here for me. So I'm just kind of stepping my way down on this profile, and I'll lean over again like I was talking about. I'll lean over like this, take a quick look, not stay there terribly long at the moment. Start to see what my curve is developing like. The other thing I want to do is, now that I've been up here, I want to check. There's my valley, so I still have enough that I can go a fair bit. Let me show you there how much we have, if you can see that. So I'm still good there. We'll leave it on the overhead. You can watch the, you probably like better seeing the tools. Let's leave it this way. We'll make a pass here. So that's all that crazy bark edge and nastiness out there. See that piece just jump off of there? Switch hands. Almost got a shoulder in the way, so I'm going to switch back. Go rest. Everything with the vibrations that I've gotten, everything seems to want to move, which is not atypical. It's going to do that. There's a lot of out of balance still going on in here, though the machine is absorbing a lot of it pretty well. But some of it's to be expected with the crazy piece. All right. So I don't want to make the very bottom much smaller. So we'll start to kind of clean that up a little bit. Okay. Now I'm going to switch over to my small 3/8 or quarter, depending on the brand. This happens to be 3/8 for Carter and Son. I take a lighter cut out here on the wings, and I'll switch back over to the overhead now for you. And I'm going to start watching. I'll be watching out here, okay? My fingers aren't nearly as close as it looks in the camera. I'll be watching the cut line come down from up here as I come in. And I switched to lighter tools just because I want a smaller tool. I want a nice light little cut here. And see, right there is where I get to solid wood. So right in here where my finger is, That's where the wood is becomes a solid. Although all of this, the rest of this I can see through. If I show you here, you can see my hand back in here. Okay. Now I'm not going to be completely done back here. I just want to get this established. I'm going to stop and take a look up here at my top again, my valley. That's my most point of interest. Okay, all right. So I need to change this tool rest around a little bit. I want to come up on these wings a little bit further. So I want to bring this around. Because this is a pretty fine point that I'm hitting as I cut to come by. We'll come up just a little bit. And we are there. Okay, so you can see the shape starting to form up there. Let me move those other chips out of the way for you. Get you a little perspective. Well, tell Miss M. Bradley says hello there, Arthur. Tell her I appreciate the hello, the shout out. Okay, so way out here on this corner, I know it's almost out of the camera view, but that's where we're starting. Clean this up. I can step back and I can see that curve as I start to form it. I can see the top edge, and I can't completely see just how thin my gap is there. I'm wondering about this bark. This bark is going to come off. So that was going to be a flying projectile right there. That's how you start to know when it's time to take those guys off. This one is still pretty tight on there. I could chisel at it, but I'm not going to. All right. So this is looking good. It's getting a nice little shape to the bottom there. I love these organic pieces. Keep that valley. So we've got this smoothed out a bit. I'm going to come back for another pass. So I dialed it up to about 1100 there. And depending on which camera you're looking at, it's okay in the overhead. The end camera is shaking the building. It's shaking the building a little bit, so we'll go here. So I'm about 2 inches away from the saw. I'm right out on that very corner, and just easing in. And again, I'm looking all the way out here, waiting to see that cut line show up. All right, let's take a look and see what that did for us right there. So I've still got some room to go. Surprisingly, that corner is getting out there. I was getting some flex, I believe. I like to try, like I say, different tools. I'm going to go back. That was my smallest tool. And sometimes, like I say, I'm just going to try different things. I like the light feel. but it might be too much. Boy, I believe a storm is coming. If you hear banging, it's just my metal fish that hang on the outside of the building. So that curve is starting to refine, starting to get that where I want. I'm getting closer and closer on this, because that point, this is that's all the way. You can barely see, but it's 30 inches away from that tip to where that point is. Okay. So I've got a little bit more to take off of this corner. And again, I'm just working on the shape right now, so I'm not worried about having a tool mark remaining. I just want to keep closing in. It's fun to have these wings up as curved as I can get them for that look. Okay. I'm real close to what I want to do here. There's some cleanup work in the back, but this is looking real good. That corner is coming along nicely. This part's still hanging in there tight. Nope, there's time for it to go. Okay, good deal. Good deal. So I'm happy with this outer profile pretty much. I want to take a little bit more out of right in here. Just a little bit to make my little 1/4 inch gap there, so I don't want to overcut. All right. Getting a little tear, starting to tear it right there a little bit. There's some ambrosia came up. This might be about due for a freshening, even though these stay sharp a long time. This is really hard. I'm real close to what I want right there. So, just for yucks, we'll just clean this up with a little bit of a draw across here. Not really even a shear scrape yet. Just going to clean that profile up. I'm not going to get carried away because I'm going to be back here again. Okay, now we're going to move back around to the front side. I'm going to take my mask off for a second, get a little fresh air in there. Bob Granat, good to see you. Yikes, I would not be able to do that these days without getting a tension headache. Well, you get used to it after a while there, Bob.
You know, it really is one of those mind over matter kind of things. If you'll treat it as though psychologically it's a round bowl, it's a lot easier in your head. So when I'm turning this and it's spinning, especially, I'm not thinking about corners missing, corners and holes missing and all that stuff. I'm thinking, because I'm seeing a round silhouette or ghost image, if you will. So in my mind, it's round. But what it is round with a higher difficulty factor because of the cut and miss and cut and miss and cut and miss. So you can't just go wailing in there and cut real fast and real hard. You have to take your time. I'm looking at this corner right here now. This is getting really thin, which is great. I love it. And they're not going to be equal, and I don't care if they're not equal. It's organic. I'm letting it come out the way it wants to. But it really is, with an oval, I don't think I've got well, here's another one laying around. This guy, get it in the black there where you can kind of see the profile. It's the same thing. If in your mind it's round, then it's not difficult. It's all up here. A little practice helps. No one can say that wouldn't be true. All right, so now I'm going to start taking some more mass out here, because if I get enough mass out of this, it will get down to weighing very little, and the vibrations will go away. I am going to leave this center section. I know I may go ahead and clean this up and bring the tailstock back in, just to get a little bit better bite, get rid of this chunk. That might be something I might just go ahead and do that now at a lower speed before I even get started. So let's do that. Let's bring the controls on back down here. And we're going to, got that guy cinched down good, but that's all right. We're going to come in and we're going to gently take away the center area here, okay? Because now we're not between centers at all. Again, because I don't have the world's greatest tenon back here, make sure that I'm where I want to be. And you've got a good view there. All right. Again, I'm going to come at this with a small light tool. Again, I don't want a big tool that could catch and make a big catch on the wood and compromise. Sure wish I had my number 1 with a negative or a standard in it, but I don't. So I'm going to come in here with my little teeny 1/4 inch gouge again, and maybe 3/8, so I can reach over. So I got to reach a little bit. Now I'm going to start this back down at 0. A nice sane speed. Now, see, we're at 800 now, and when we started at 800 earlier, we were jumping all over the place. So we're getting lighter and lighter all the time. I'm going to raise that tool rest up a fuzz. It's a pretty piece of wood. See the wild, crazy grain things that we got going on in here? You know, some people won't turn goofy looking wood. They want perfect clean. They'll go down to, excuse me, no offense to Woodcraft, but they'll go down to Woodcraft and buy a $60 ash blank. It's all perfectly clean. Straight grain, no knots, no nothing. And that's great. It's, you know, it turns well and the whole bit, but there's not as much adventure there. And I know my folks are in here. If Mom's still here, Mom and Dad, they raised me to enjoy adventure, and I've carried it through my life with everything I do, even my turning and my art projects. Oh, another thing, let me point out real quick here. See right here? My hand is really close to these corners, and if I don't pay attention, I let that hand drift over, one of these corners will come by and hit, and you can't quite see that. I go right there. It really hurts, okay? So you want to be really cognizant, and one of the things I typically try and do is, where are we at?
Yeah, overhead. I try and let my palm, the fleshy end of the hand right here, I let that rest on the tool rest and my little finger, and that's kind of my guide. If I feel my hand moving over the top of that tool rest at all, because I'm not very far away, I'm 3/4 of an inch away from it right now. I try and keep that in mind, is to not get all beat up, because I've done it before and it hurts like the dickens. This very center is still kind of bumpy here. Let's just get rid of that thing. So see, we've got this bark. So we've got really, really hard wood right here. We've got this bark right here, which is 100 times softer. And that's what makes the tool want to bounce around. And like I was talking about, people, well, they don't want to deal with stuff with bark in it because it's hard or different grains. Yeah, it takes a little more work, but in the end, it's, at least to me, it's worth the effort. The reward is there. And the whole time we're getting more mass out of this, which makes it lighter, so we can safely turn it faster, because we're going to need to get the speed up to get nice clean cuts before we're done. Okay? Let's stop and reorganize our tool rest here, take a look at things. So I'm liking the way, at the moment, overhead, I'm about 3/8 of an inch from cutting to my valley, so I won't lose that valley. Even when I clean this up, that's going to stay. That's just, and it's not as big as maybe I had hoped for, but hey, you get that. But we'll still have that little natural piece there, and that's good. I don't mind. Okay. Let's see. I was going to reorganize myself here a little bit. Change the angle of my tool rest to follow the line of the curve a little bit. So another thing that I'll start to do now, as this has gotten safer, as this piece has gotten safer, as I've taken away the mass, I can look, because then the bark's gone, I can look over the top of it. I can look down like this. And so when I'll be turning, I'll look at this back side and I'll be watching this back profile. Be watching the profile right here as I'm turning on this side. So you might see, depending on which camera's on, you might see my head lean over and kind of look at where I'm at. So I'm reading the wall thickness or the thickness of the piece just by looking over it. Okay? Let's go to the end shot there for you again. All right. Off we go. Actually, I want to move that tool rest in a little bit closer. I don't want any more overhang than I have to have. I do need to adjust the nut on the bottom of this banjo one of these days. Okay. Because I'm going to start taking the speed up, see if I can take the speed up some more. As I keep taking this out, everything is good. Am I happy with this? I might have gone up a little bit too high. I got 15 minutes to get done by noon, so I better get with it. Okay, so there we're back up to 1,000. Let's take some more out of this, and I'm going to bring the tailstock back up. Look over the back side. Oh, that camera's vibrating too much for you guys now at 1,000, isn't it? There we go. It's not that big a wood building. It gives some pretty good shake. So there, that was wild. I had to look up. I'm glad I have a monitor out front. Wait a minute. I've got a monitor that I'm pointing at right now. It's a big 40-inch TV, and I've got all these different cameras on there. And when I looked up, I saw that this camera was shaking like crazy on you guys, and I said, well, that's no good. So we'll slow it down for that. So again, you see, here, let me go stay here. So as I go to make my cut, I take a peek over, see where I'm at, okay? Come back in. Make my cuts. I do want to raise that tool rest up a little bit. So it's starting, there's some red color in there. That's interesting. I had just a little bit of that notch there. Look over the side. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this thickness fairly uniform, and getting close to the thickness I want. And then I'm going to come back around to the back side and finish that up as much as I can. And then I'll come back to the front side. Now, with that there, I can start to look and I see I'm still pretty thick in the center there. So we'll go ahead and take another pass down through here. And when it gets too thick for this tool that I have in my hand, I just jump up and make another step. I'm not in a hurry. Well, I should be done by noon, but sometimes I go long, you know, and I'm not going to rush this because I might get hurt. All right, let's see what we've got going on. Beautiful piece of wood down in here. All right. Because what's going to happen, let me explain this to you, and I'll take a fresh air. So this is still about a ½ an inch thick. Now, as it gets thinner and thinner, it's already moved some, and that's why I left this rough. As we're releasing the stresses in the wood, making these cuts, the piece starts to shift and warp and twist because it's been all bound up for the last 80 years or whatever. As we cut this wood away, it moves and shifts. So had I made this backside perfect before, or very close to perfect, and then I came back, it would have moved a little bit again. So I kind of go back and forth, work my way back and forth on these pieces. I'm real close. I'm pretty uniform down through here, and again at about a ½ an inch in thickness. So that makes me happy. I'm not going to obviously I'm not going to sand this and all that stuff today. I'm just going to get this shape. You know, is it as unique as I had thought? Well, no, because of the way I chose to do it, is I didn't want to go do it the other way, which would have been, you know, very interesting. And I've got more goofy pieces like this, so do not dismay. There will be more crazy turning going on out here. But I'm going to jump back around to the back on this and clean it up the best that I want. Again, I'm not going to get carried away with it. Because now I can get my speed back up there a little bit. It would be easier to cut it from the inside out, but that's not going to happen until we turn it around, which can happen at some point with a vacuum chuck, or between you
a reverse chuck. There's no way you can do a jam chuck on here. But you can put it back between centers and turn this back side from cutting from the inside out. But a vacuum chuck would be awesome. Mine is up in North Georgia. There's one up there. John Phillips, Mr. JP. How you doing, buddy? All right, let me get a little bit closer on this. Work my way around. Now, while I'm back here, I'm going to bring that tailstock back up. I don't want to be putting a hole in the center of it. I just want pressure. So I'm going to add a little rubber chucky on it just for between centers, just for security. Okay? Just so it doesn't get away from me. Bring my controls back down here. And 1/2-inch Carter & Son / 3/8 Sorby. I know I was hoping Michael Lang helps me out at the woodworking shows. He demonstrates for us in the booth, and he does seminars for us. And he just ordered up a 1/2-inch tool, but then I didn't have the one in stock that he was asking for. And I said, he said, Sorby would be all right. I said, okay, well, Sorby's runs one way and Carter & Son runs another. So which 1/2-inch do you want? I think we've got it worked out, but I know he's working. He's out there working somewhere today. Stay safe. Michael, when you watch this, we missed you. Okay, let's go. We'll stay right there because I don't want to take much off of this. And where am I at? I'm on that camera, so let me go to the overhead. Get you a better view again. Here, stop while I do this. Get the chips out of the way so you can see the profile just a little bit better. This is live. Ain't no editing on this. I love the challenge. Doing the live demonstrations of the woodworking shows, I have so much fun because it is live and with an audience right there. When things don't go right or whatever, that's what you get. And same thing here. It's just that you're on the other end of the camera. All right, so I'm just going to ease up on this corner. Very light cut. We still got that really different grain right in there. And I'm getting this tear out because I'm not going downhill. I'm trying to cut the grain uphill, and that's why I'm not getting a very smooth cut. And of course I can't come back in here. So we can try with an Easy Wood Tools round cutter. It is more of a scraper style, but we could at least go downhill. And we'll see what we get. Until I can turn it around. Okay. And that helps dramatically. So what I want to do, I also should have a radius. I don't have. Do I have a radius cutter installed anywhere? That's not negative rake. I don't. I need more tool handles so I can have one of everything staged up at all times. Just not enough tool handles yet. Well, we'll stay with the round one.
it'll do what I need. But I could come in here with, and I'll show you, the square style tool with a radius, and this is radius, but it's negative rake. I'll try it, but I don't think it's going to be aggressive enough for me. I get kind of impatient waiting for them to cut on. Even though this wood is hard, it's not that hard. But it will give me a finish cut. And I'm letting that front end cut right now. Front edge. It's not really that much different than using a traditional scraper. And I can do that. I could do that too. To shape this piece. And just cleaning up the tool marks with it. So that starts to clean up pretty well. Just for yucks. I don't know how sharp this is. We'll take a traditional scraper, bowl scraper, on the wrong side, but we'll just clean that up. I can't get all the way down into the, up by the chuck, or the tenon there. I'll get as close as I can. Again, we won't finish this completely today. This does dress it up. You see that nice, smooth, clean shaving coming off. Now when I get out here, it gets a little, because you're going to get vibration as that wing starts to get thin. And a very light pressure there, right out to the end. Okay, now it's not perfect back in here yet. Get that turned around one day, that would be fine. Got a little hump here and there, but the clock is ticking, so I want to move along here. Come back around to the front. And start to cut my final thickness on the wings out here. So I'm going to go back over to the front end. So I want to start to cut my final thickness up here, because once I do, I'm going to work my way down. If I come back up, these will start to warp as I take the inner material out. So I want to cut these about 1.5 inches at a time to their final thickness. Okay. Now I'm going to grab a sip of water here real quick. I'm going to go about 15 minutes over, it looks like. But that's the way it is. That's the way it is. I think I will stay with this. I don't like that, the way that looks. I was playing with reshaping some tools on the grinder this morning, and I kind of changed them around a little bit, and I didn't quite get what I wanted, but then I didn't have time to change them. Okay. So I'm over here out of the way. I've just dialed the speed up, if you're not vibrating too bad there, to about 1100. Okay. Now I'm going to start way out here on the end, where you can just barely see. Get these chips out of the way. I'll take a peek over the edge, look at my profile, get myself. Now the cuts start to really matter. So I get myself secured, my stance secure. So I'll work with that section right there. It's a little more than 1.5 inches, but this is where my tool is the intersection of the edge, natural edge, or the corners, and the solid wood. Okay, so I know I've got some tool marks out there on the corners, and they're tough not to get tool marks, because this corner is really thin. There goes that bark. This one is too. This one's thick, so you have to be careful. And it's just tough because one of them will start to flex, and you get an uneven cut. So I got a fair bit of wood right in here I want to take away. Fair being a relative term. Shaking too much for you. But I need the speed to make the clean cut, unfortunately. But so we'll see what we can do here. So I look over the edge. Let me show you what I'm doing. I look over the edge, and this section right in here is very, very thin now. And then I can see where it gets thicker, so I'll come back up here. But now notice I took my head out of the way when I made that cut. So now, I'm about 1/4 of an inch thick right in here, okay? So let's stop and take a look at that. So right in through here, all these are about equal. Now because they're flexing a little bit and I'm not turning fast enough, I'm getting a little tool mark there, or I just don't have my control there today. But if we go to overhead, you'll see, what we've got going. These are the little points out here on the corners, and that's very cool. Okay. Uh-oh, what'd I hit? I hit something different on my controller. I don't want to go there. Video. No. Now I'm all lost, guys. Who's driving? That's okay. Just didn't want to do that. I hit some button somewhere that I think I lost my controller here for a second. And it's on 4, so you're probably seeing black. Oh no. That's memories. What'd I do? I can go do it manual if I have to. I'll just go do it manually. I lost control of my controller. Alright, so let me go to overhead. I lost my controller. So that I can turn the speed up, so I can make this cut as clean as I can. It won't vibrate. Now the end's not vibrating. Now I'm up at 1300. But we'll make this cut go from the overhead anyway. Just very light. You can hear that. And sometimes with the wings, you just end up having to sand some of that out. A couple tool marks there. If I was to keep working at it, I could get those out. But we're running out of TikTok here. Yep, the video will be back. It should be back now. You have a lot of echo. Well, what we'll do then is we'll just kill. If I did turn on the iPad. We'll just kill the iPad if the echo's there. Thank you, Kevin. Appreciate that. We just turn the iPad off altogether. And we're on the end. Okay, off we go. So this is my next starting point. Let's take some more of this out. That's my next 1.5 inch area. So I'm kind of sneaking up on that. Alright, we're real close now. So my thickness now is fairly uniform. I got a little hump right in here. And see, and this is down to almost a point. Okay. So let's make one more pass right up and through here. Drug the heel there a little bit. Trying to hurry. Okay. Satisfied with that. Got a little bit there, but like I say, the clock is ticking on me. I'm going to switch to the 3/8 for a minute to take a little bit of this mass out of here. Still echo, huh? A little bit more out of this. We'll make it 2 more steps. We'll make this the second to the last step. Again, this is where I start just looking over, quickly looking at the inside, the bottom profile. Okay. There's some of this extra material here. Alright. Double check things. Alright, we got room to move there. Good deal. So we're just in a little bit closer if we can get it. Because this is 3/16, 8. It's varying a little bit. If I was really not in a hurry and I want to make these cuts real perfect, I would go back over and resharpen these tools. I see what it's throwing chips with the wings down there. Let me get those out of there. Stop, clean up so I can see my tool, pick the cut back up. You can see the different shading now, nice light cut. Again, I'm going to go ahead and stop and clear my tool. Okay. I could be happier with the tool marks, but there's the ambrosia finally showing up on the piece. So it's time to take the tailstock away. And take the rest of the middle out of this guy. Kind of wrap this up. Again, a little more time spent, I would clean that up. But the clock's ticking, I don't want to keep everybody all day long out here. Okay. Put my controller right up here. Everything looks good. Take a look over the top. Put it in that camera there. And yep. Okay, now for fun, see if I can not get my head in the way, but I probably will. So I'm going to switch you to the overhead. I'm going to take my little 1/4 inch again, or 3/8. Move my tool rest in. And just for fun, as we wrap this up, tool rest is way too low. Pretty piece of wood. I could rotate this out and move it to the end, but trying just to make a quick cut going from the inside out for you. And that cleans up in the inside, and I'll go ahead and switch over. Sorry, I'm having to walk over here now. And you can see how that inside cleans up real nice. All right. And I'll see if I can get myself in the way or not. Maybe my head's not in the way. So that's just the way I'm making the cut. Now out here, I'm already pretty much where I want to be, and it may have moved. But I would like to clean up some of that if I can. You hear it kicking because it's already moved. So I'm just watching the cut line. clean up those tool marks. When I get out here, I'm going to be real careful. This is real thin. And it's all going to flex. I don't want to break it. Okay. So I got a few marks out here, but again, this thing is starting to flex. I haven't done one of these in a while, not that that's an excuse.
But they are a lot of fun. There's more sand in there than I want to do, but the time has come to say it's the end of the day. Let's take this out of here. I'll kind of give it a turn around, show you guys a little bit about it. So leaving the tenon on, I can still work on this piece. Let's see what you get. I just left, the shape as natural as I could from the way it was cut when I was running the bandsaw. That's as far as organic as I can get. You can see the profile. You go. I always get trying to figure out how to get myself out of the way on these. Everything's upside down and backwards. And for the bottom, so now I'll switch over to the overhead camera for you. And so the overhead camera, you can see, get an idea for the profile, the wings, interesting little piece. Lots of fun. Again, not very thick. It's great for your tool control practice. If you do it and you mess it up, it's okay. Let me go to the end camera for you too. I want you to see all the different views. The only way you get better at these kind of projects is to do them more often, do them again and again and again. So you can see the profile here. It's great for your tool control, it really is. Like even if you break it, in my book, you're learning. Because that tool control is going to help you on that next normal, regular piece that you make, be it a bowl or a holoform or a vase or a vessel or whatever. It's going to help you out. Again, beautiful piece of wood. There's an overhead shot of that pretty piece of wood. And I would like to thank everybody. I had a great time. Haven't done one of these in a while. It's always good to get out. I really appreciate folks hanging out with me today. I hope the feeds were good. Curious to see if it actually went to 4 platforms at one time, or 3 channels on Facebook and the YouTube channel with the software and the streaming. I'm always working to make these better. That's one of my missions, is to provide the best live stream that I possibly can. I know a lot of people are jumping into live streams now, especially with what we got going on. I've had a request to talk about my cameras and the software that I'm using, and the controllers and switches and all that. And at some point in the future, we'll be doing that for sure. Again, I'd like to give a little shout out to our hand sanitizer keyring project. Jump on the store there at shop.spycraft.com. If you want to make, we've got all the parts in stock. Great way to have a hand sanitizer. Carry anywhere. I keep one in the van all the time now. So they're good. They're not expensive. It starts at like $11.95. Get you making a kit. If you want to make a bunch of them, depending on if you have the manuals or not, you can add to it. Family packs are going out. We'll do a pack, so you do one for family packs for 4, good things like that. But anyway, I appreciate it, everybody. Have a good, safe week. Stay clean. Keep your hands clean. Keep your mask on if you need to wear a mask somewhere. All the good stuff. We'll see you out here next Monday. I may, depending on how my week goes, I may sneak a little something out here just on the fly without any announcement. I got something I'm kind of thinking about. So maybe in the middle of the week, you never know. Anyway, I will say adieu, have a good afternoon, and I thank you very much. Have a good day. Bye now.